He saunters on down to her in that fucking stupid cut-off long sweatshirt. I fucking hate his style so much.
I was also a big...
I
really hated that sleeveless sweatshirt.
You're in a wife beater, just like wear the wife beater, pop that shirt off, Colton. Let us see it.
Colton, you chilly? Wear a sweatshirt. You hot? Wear a t-shirt.
God, it's so funny. Like I as the older I get, I don't even notice that stuff at all anymore. I'm just thinking, like, is this guy gay? I think this guy's gay, right? I'm not crazy.
Oh, hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Bachelor podcast. My name's Dylan, and I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
And then Patrick Hickey, the producer of the podcast, is behind the glass.
Hi, everybody. Hey, good to be here. Hey, by the way,
business to take care of?
Oh, just really quickly. So the person that gave us the 4-star review... I want you to know I will be addressing that later in the show, and you will be dealt with.
Nick came in today. I was like, how are things going? He was like, we got a 4-star. Hey, let's talk about the elephant in the room. That's not
a good thing to call him.
I gained a little weight.
A fan favorite returning guest, creator of Dads, the Sulk on Twitter, Alec Sulkin.
Thank you very much. You could just stop at creator of Dads.
Yep.
I insist.
I think you're right. I don't want to start the podcast off on a contentious note.
Okay.
But where do you get off?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Where do you get off sending Nick that Blake's going to be the next Bachelor?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Months before that happens, egg on your face, they announced Colton was going to be the Bachelor today.
I got 2 issues with this before you get to
Sure.
rebut.
Damn it.
First of all, the season, this is the first time I was able to avoid spoilers.
I know.
And I get down to the wire. I'm actually really anticipating the finale. I don't know what's going to happen. And I get a DM from a man you looked up to, the showrunner and creator of Dads.
Past tense.
and he tells me Blake is the next Bachelor, which A, ruins the season for me.
And 1, it's not right.
And 2, turns out to be false.
Well, you know what? The Russians are famous, and so are the Brits for something called the black arts, misinformation.
Yeah.
You put things out there and you see where they pop up, so then you can tell who's loyal. So I'm happy to say you guys passed the test. Congratulations.
That's a freaking cop-out if I've ever heard one.
And you're welcome.
This is Eric bigger level nonsense of getting out of a jam, but well done.
We'll have no more ideological subversion. I think that's what they call it.
That's good.
Okay, let's get into this. We have not seen you since Becca Kufrin's season, so we usually jump into general thoughts on the episode, but general thoughts from you on the whole season thus far of Bachelor in Paradise.
General thoughts are... First of all, highly entertaining. Continues to be highly entertaining.
Yeah.
Against all odds when you see the people who are on there. The whole thing is filmed, I believe, over maximum of 3 weeks. And so you get these people and they're like, well, our relationship is pretty strong. And, we're kind of, there's some strong couples here, and it's so and so and so and so. And it's like these people have been together for 4 days.
Yeah.
And they sit around with nothing to do all day, except lie arm in arm. But there's something just great about it. There's something awesome about watching when the odds are a little more even, when it's not 15 guys and 1 girl or 15 girls and 1 guy.
Yeah.
It's interesting when the numbers are closer to see the way that people operate and to see stars break out. Like this season, John, the Venmo creator, who didn't create Venmo, he all of a sudden is like this hot commodity there, and it's awesome to see. It's awesome.
Again, we're getting off on a contentious. I mean,
You asked for the whole season.
I know, but he just said John's a star.
He's a breakout star.
It's hard to we may not like him, but it's hard to argue. He's become a machine on his own.
The man's going to be knees deep in pussy for at least the next 3 years.
Absolutely, but you're 100% right. The cast of characters is not an A squad by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But this has been pretty much phenomenal reality
Great
television.
TV. And also, who could have predicted Jordan's total redemption?
I wanted to get into that with you. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Let's jump straight into this
Let's do it.
3-hour bonanza.
A 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour.
We're going to get 5 hours this week and 5 hours next week, which, I mean, I'm not looking forward to.
Me neither.
I wish I knew the words of that, and I would have ad-libbed an actual Eric Bigger hits the.
You guys are a little too young.
Yeah.
Are we calling it BIP here? We got to call it. You're calling it BIP,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Big time. We
Good.
call it BIP every
Good.
episode.
I
Okay,
actually
good.
haven't vocalized it,
Let's-
but in my head, I
Let's
call it
save
Bib.
time. Let's save time. BIP.
Last week we left off. Eric leaves Angela, who Chris Shitface Harrison calls a woman scorned. Jenna, this sends kind of waves throughout the entire cast. Jenna says that she's scared because the guys don't know what they want and they change their minds and go after other people.
I'm telling you, they're setting the scene because it seems like these couples are so solid. We need a narrative, and that narrative has become uncertainty.
I know, but like Kettle, Black. Do we remember Benoit from last week?
Oh, how could we oublier Benoit? We could not forget him.
That's not a great French accent.
No, but it's the French Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
They sort of talk like a little more flat.
I
Not
guess
a
that's
great
true.
French accent. Spot on.
Spot on French Canadian. By the way, you could say that to a French Canadian. Not a great French accent. Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Dylan, did you mention the episode starts with that nutball Angela crying because of the whole Eric thing?
No, I didn't. But do you want to talk about her tears?
Yeah. So Eric has accepted a date, I don't know at this point, or is ready to go on a date with Cassandra, who does not look good. From her season, she was super hot and she was kind of the villain. Here she's, I don't know what that salt water's doing to those women's hair, but it's very frizzy and not attractive.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Eric Bigger is going to go on a date with her, and Angela's all broken up, saying that apparently he told her that she was his queen and his princess, and now he's off on another date after he already promised her that they would not be dating other people.
Yeah, I mean he's a real snake, that Eric Bigger.
He was just pulling some lines out of the fuckboy handbook that he
Yeah.
keeps in his back pocket.
Absolutely.
I mean, he got himself into a real mess, and it was of his own making. And like the more people described it back to him what he was doing, and the more he would be like, "Well, I just felt different this morning when I woke up."
Yeah.
You know what was weird though, and tell me if this is racist, but when it was being reported back about, he called her my queen. I mean, didn't you feel like, oh yeah, that sounds like something maybe a black guy would
Oh,
say?
no,
You're
that's totally-
saying a white guy wouldn't say you're my queen.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound like.
Would you like to come back and have our castle? But that's black person.
But in a
That's
great
black
way.
speak right there.
But in a great way.
Yeah.
Like they got that one.
Right,
They've
of course.
nailed that.
You
That's,
can say that without, looking around and lacking confidence.
Okay.
I will warn you,
Yes,
Alec.
extremely racist.
No. I will warn you. Our line for what is racist is we got very loose parameters, so
Okay.
we may not. I mean, for the sake of a career, you may not want to use us as a barometer. Just note that going
We've
forward.
got Pat from, Luneburg.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Hey. I question the man's intelligence because he's coming off as a
Eric's.
total pig. Yeah, Eric's intelligence. Because during Rachel Lindsay's season, he came in third place. Let me remind everyone. Came
wow.
off unscathed from that, looking like a good guy. He's got a podcast at least 800 people listen to. And here he is fucking that whole thing up.
he had a hometown?
Yes.
Big
wow.
time. And this is
that's the rarefied air.
Yeah, it really, really is, and it confuses me. I don't know why anyone wants to be with this man. His head is misshapen, his teeth are huge, and he comes from a broken family.
Which we met in the mean streets of Baltimore. It was a classic moment on this podcast, actually, when...
Are you familiar?
Oh, sure. Tell me about your greatest hits.
Yeah, when he brought Rachel Lindsay home to his family, he announced to the family that he had never kissed a girl. He announced to Rachel that he had never kissed a girl in front of his family. And Patrick went on to elaborate some hypothetical scenarios of other things.
This is one of our greatest hits.
That Eric had not done with a woman in front of our family, and they got very graphic.
Alec, have you ever heard of giving a girl the old Abraham Lincoln?
Hey, geez, Abraham Lincoln I thought was the front wedgie from like elementary school that you'd give people.
No.
No, get ready for the bleeps. It's when you get a girl on her fucking then you grab a pair of shears, you and then as it forms a beard like Abraham Lincoln.
Oh my, this is the sound of me leaving the studio. All right, just walla in some footsteps and then a door closing. Yeah, that's bad.
God.
And we got into it a little bit before the podcast started, but we obviously have slightly different views of Eric because I think the man might be a genius for his move with the cheese speech.
Absolutely insane.
Move with the cheese up there with 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing from Rudy. A great motivational speech that just, in a weird way, just figured it all out in a moment.
Or the halftime speech in, the name escapes me, but that hockey movie.
Yeah. I think it was called Hockey.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Miracle?
Miracle
Yeah,
season, and we bring it back to Eric.
They go on a date and eat popsicles, or as the Mexicans call them, paletas.
That's so funny that
Did a little bit of research.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
it was good.
That's so funny that you mentioned the popsicles because, as you know, my notes vary in how detailed they are.
Yes.
But sometimes I start out very detailed, and they eat popsicles. I had details about their clothing, and it really drops off on page 2 of my notes.
Well, let me try and help you out. She says that she picked Eric because he was confident, which is a fib. She picked him because he was one of the only people left on that island, and she doesn't like the Asian people. I think that's why she picked him.
She does. Oh, because John? She didn't pick John?
Yeah.
I think he's projecting. I don't think that really is.
I don't think she likes Asians.
I think the first part is that Eric was the only person available, and she's going for the low-hanging fruit.
Eric talks to Cassandra about that whole all-in with Angela thing. Pat, do you have a clip?
And in this process, it was with somebody, her name is Angela, and we had, some type of liking and connection. Mm-hmm. But I think at this point, she wants to take things slow, but I'm not getting anything in return. It's off. Sometimes you just need love, a hug, someone who just understands you without explaining yourself, and that's very important for me.
He knows that this is going to be on TV later, right? Like,
great question.
You are lying multiple times in front of us all, and you're looking like a complete scumbag. And I would ask why, Eric. All right, what? So you can have one night with this? You got 3 more fucking days on the island. What I would say, by the way, my Groupon is currently available at $13 for advice for people that want to be on this show. I will help you come out looking like a fucking great guy.
Well, it's the Groupon, or you charge the regular price of $50.
Yes, but
right.
for Groupon, $13. Anyway, Eric, don't fucking be a gentleman on the island. Look good on TV. Then you'll get some hosting gigs on E! News or something later on, or maybe make your way over to another reality show. Right now, you're looking like a piece of shit and a lying scumbag, and now all the women hate you.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that he says that he's looking for consistency and honesty in a partner.
No gray area with this guy.
None at all.
There's and again, you are looking at Eric with different eyes than I am. I think that he's lying. Yes, he clearly just kind of made this move to I'll go on a date with you after saying all the "you're my queen" stuff to whatever her name is. What's her name?
Angela.
But the kernel of truth that came through for me was he's not getting laid by Angela. That's all it is.
I wanted to, and I'm not known on this podcast for digging up hot takes. That's usually Nick and Pat. But I did have a hot take when he's talking to Angela later on in the episode. She says, I like you. And he's like, I don't feel that from you. I don't feel that intimacy.
Right.
And it is only that she's not fucking him.
Exactly.
That's the only reason that he's doing this.
That's a super hot take. See, guys, I'm an idiot, but I thought the reason she was so broken up was that he had just fucking blasted her the night before and told her all these things.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely
Because had
not.
he gotten sex, he would totally been loyal.
Well, we
Not
don't know
loyal.
that. We don't know that.
Whoa.
But I think that the loyalty would have lasted a couple of days or a week or something, and then it might have faded away.
It's just not loyalty. He would have just been interested in her or stuck around for a little bit longer. But you could tell they were in that room filled with dairy and champagne, and he wanted to enter her, and she was not going to allow it because of how gassy she was.
That was true. That was the thing with the 800 scoops of ice cream, right? I remember that. Yeah, but
So much dairy.
that was a ridiculous date. That was insane, that date. But yes, I think it's strictly a thing of he's not getting laid, and you know, he said all this stuff to her, you're my queen, you're my princess, because he wanted to get laid, and all the all-in stuff, which even sounds like, hey, let's have sex.
Yes.
All
Like,
inside
that's
your pussy.
Right. That's probably why
Jesus.
how the term came up.
Yeah.
And it just
She was
didn't
like,
work.
Can we amend that? Just all in?
So he lied and was a scumbag, but there was a real-life reason for it, I believe.
I guess so.
Hey, Mike, can I do some meanwhiles?
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile.
Okay, so Alec, just to let you know, because you don't listen to our show.
No, meanwhile,
There's
it's
a lot,
catching on.
There's a lot going on this island, and so I'm going to put you up to speed right now. What's happening during Eric and Cassandra's date? Meanwhile, Tia is being a total fucking busybody, bragging about her relationship with fucking Colton. Meanwhile, Colton is going over to the Canadian Kevin and saying, "I'm going to dump this bitch."
It's very, very sad. Let's talk about Colton and Tia.
This is the first 6 minutes of the show, gentlemen.
Yeah,
We are top
We
heavy.
will
Well.
speed up, but we do have to
Who
say
cares? This is the juice
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I mean, this stuff was great.
That's absolutely right.
Tia is talking Colton's ear off about this whole Eric thing, and he looks like a husband who's like 40 years into a marriage with a waspy woman. Whose profession is spending her husband's money. Like, he just has that Pavelka, like, I don't want to listen to you. I want you to go away. Ooh. I never want to fucking see you again. He looks angry underneath those soft virgin eyes.
The Pavelka reference is good.
Yeah, he's just daydreaming about going to grab a pack of cigarettes and never coming back.
Hey,
Like a Bruce Springsteen song.
But then he remembers how bad of a influence cigarettes on those young children with cystic fibrosis is.
Oh, boy.
How bad an influence. I mean, a cig would literally knock a cystic fibrosis patient dead.
That's it.
Hey, may I add something
No
to
vest
this?
is going to help that cigarette smoke.
May I add to this? The true tell sign of a man not into a chick is when he starts overeating and not caring about his physique. The first 3 months of being into a person you're dating is you're kind of watching your weight because you're going to be having sex with them. You care about like photos because you want them all to come out good. Colton, face already getting fucking fat.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He's loading up on the fish tacos and yep. He's not into her. I knew it.
He's a little, he looks like he's sweating butter sometimes. That could be what it is.
We need to kind of unpack the bullshit that he feeds her. I think it is hilarious that he is talking about how he just realized that he's dragging her along. Like, he hasn't been completely disinterested in being with her this entire time.
Yeah, that part was dumb. I hated the part how he played football and attempted to make millions of dollars for playing a game because his family wanted him to. I don't think that's the reason you tried out for the NFL, you idiot.
And by the way, never actually played in a fucking professional football game. Shut the fuck up.
It's like you had no control over the outcome. You weren't dragging along. Your dreams were executed because you weren't good enough.
Now, I guess there's a bigger question here that I have, which was, okay, so we've established that today it was announced, right, that Colton's going to be the next Bachelor.
Yep.
Are we and again, this might be my old dated 1980s grown up mind, but are we just blatantly putting a gay guy in as the Bachelor? is that
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
You just couldn't be more right.
and then won't we all kind of be complicit when in like 6 years it's like former Bachelor Colton whatever killed himself today?
Right, well,
and,
I didn't think you were going there.
I thought he was going to
I agree with you, Alec. He's
but-
totally gay. Even
6
if-
years is a good over-under for the very public coming out,
yeah. Oh, that's true.
you know?
And do you think on some level they know that at ABC and they feel like maybe this next season might be the most shocking rose ceremony of all time? Like literally, like the final rose would be great if it's like
Blake just comes out of whatever tropical forest they're in and gets down on one knee.
Or Colton ends up proposing to Michael Orr,
wait, who's Michael Orr?
first gay NFL player.
Oh wow, what a pull!
That's not right. That's the homeless
Blind Side.
Yeah, that's the homeless kid from Blindside. First gay NFL player was
Oh, God. His
There's
name
been
was Sam,
plenty, I'm
right?
sure.
His name was Sam?
Oh
He never-
yeah, Christian Samuel.
that's close.
he got
That's
cut.
close, right?
That
Didn't
might
he
be
get cut
it.
before the season started? He didn't even play a professional game either.
Yeah, no, Jeff Fisher was not going to allow a homosexual on his team.
God, if I would have had that right name, that would have been pretty.
Jeff
good.
8 Fisher. I don't think anyone got the right name, but
We are not gonna go 8-8 this year. I'll settle with 7-9 for Christ's sake. But,
But
please, not 8-8.
am I wrong? I don't know that. And if he's gay, that's fine. But it's like, he's 26. He's been like the star athlete of everywhere he's been in his life.
Yeah.
And it's just not. It just seems unnatural that he would not have just
Totally.
even accidentally gotten laid a
It
couple
is
of times.
he would have been raped by now, and he
Yeah.
could have said, "Well, I'm not a virgin anymore because I was raped."
Right.
But when you went home to his house, seeing his dad was like so sad. It just kind of became concrete because he cannot come out as gay with that ex-porn star of a father.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I was going to say
You're
his
right.
father reminded me of that fucking guy in American Beauty that fucking put a hole through Kevin Spacey's head.
Chris Cooper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
more vascular and
Yeah, sure.
thick.
But a scary dude nonetheless. And Colton could be gay, and now he's can't come out because he's afraid his father beat the shit out of him.
He saunters on down to her in that fucking stupid cut-off long sweatshirt. I fucking hate his style so much.
I was also a big.
Oh my
I really
God.
hated that sleeveless sweatshirt.
You're in a wife beater. Just like wear the wife beater. Pop that shirt off,
Hey,
Colton. Let
hey.
us see it.
Colton, you chilly? Wear a sweatshirt. You hot? Wear a t-shirt. Let's not have this in between.
God, it's so funny. Like I as the older I get, I don't even notice that stuff at all anymore. I'm just thinking, like, is this guy gay? I think this guy's gay, right? I'm not crazy.
Okay.
Honey, get in here. I think Colton's gay.
Yeah.
He starts off the conversation by saying, like, there's no easing into it at all. He's just like, I wanted this to work.
Oh.
And she's just like, oh, okay. Contain yourself, and fail to contain yourself.
By the way, I like how out to fucking lunch chicks are. She's talking about engagement rings, and he's like talking about like walking papers.
It
like,
is so brutal.
The way they edited it was so perfect, too. Just like her being like, and thank God for Colton, and we're so strong right now. We're super strong. And, oh, God.
It's sad because she's devastated because this is her ticket to, staying afloat in this purgatory of celebrity.
you mean if she stayed with Colton?
If she stayed with Colton, yeah.
I think her cachet rises with being dumped, sir.
I forgot to write that down in my notes, but I had two conflicting ideas bouncing around in my head because this could actually be good for her.
I don't know. I think her overall arc, I think the women are almost like happy to be rid of her because at least judging it on a sample size of one, my wife watching it, she hated Tia for fucking up the Colton thing during Becca's season. She was just like, "Oh God, Tia, shut up!" Like every time she would come in and be like, Colton and I still have these feelings, and like my wife was just like, "Shut up." And so then when they like got together, and now that they've broken up, I think a lot of people might be saying like, serves her right.
Yeah, well, I mean, America was sick and also tired of these two, and we got so much of them.
Okay. I have some thoughts on this. All right, so I hope this is not the new roadmap to be in the fucking Bachelor, taken out of the book of Nick Viall.
Right.
But I don't think this is like normal for after season shows or aftermarket Bachelor franchises to create the next Bachelor. The fact that Colton is on here, Nick Viall was on here, and now it works for a second time, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, I don't think this is like the equation, though. I think these are just two. Anything can happen.
An anomaly?
Well, if it happens twice, it's not an anomaly. But I think it's just, a little more. I don't know.
Well, Colton did himself a disservice by being on Bachelor in Paradise because I didn't hate him nearly as much before I saw him for 6 weeks on this fucking show.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I didn't hate him. I hated Blake and that other Scott Baio or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, from Johnny Chachi from Buffalo.
Well, let's talk about Johnny Chachi. I was worried about Colton because these are tough waters to navigate. You can't be too much of a douchebag, but you kind of have to have an air of a player. And Jason shot himself in the foot in that Men Tell All episode because he sat back with his hands like this, talking like a fucking asshole.
And a salesman.
You could barely see him up on that high horse. It was like 12 stories high.
Greatest hits.
we reuse jokes here.
It's new to you.
If I haven't seen it, it's new to me. Family Guy flashback. Charles Manson, season 2.
There we go.
Hey, that
call.
is crazy. That's encyclopedic.
When Colton dumps Tia, I don't know how much we're going to keep diving into this, but I want to say something happened during this breakup that I actually don't think ever happens in real life, never mind on TV. She hugs him and cries as he fucking cuts her loose.
Oh.
Well, I think there were maybe a couple things that they edited out of the middle because there was a weird jump from when he was just like clearly breaking up with her to a moment where she was like clearly rubbing his back.
Right.
So it was like women rub your back if you get emotional.
Hold on. Everyone in this room has dumped a chick before. Please tell me one example, real life example in your life where a chick that you're fucking saying, hey, we're not going to be together anymore, starts comforting you by rubbing your back.
See, the problem is that you're not pathetic.
Yes!
So,
well, I don't know about that.
I know, but not in that way. So, but like there's this strategic patheticism that you can employ sometimes when you're in that situation.
Yeah,
so
he's very good at that.
Yeah,
very good at that.
Well, that's all he does. And I love that there was some part of his speech that we just heard where he says like, I please people, and that's why I get so deep into these things. And it's like you haven't gotten deep in it, like you haven't been deep in a relationship ever.
Yeah, that word is not applicable to any woman you've ever been with.
No.
On account of
the no fucking.
Yeah. Hey, this just like Eric and Cassandra is really kind of a bomb that goes off on this island. Everyone's shaken, including Kendall. Pat, do you have a clip?
The longer you drag it on, the longer you're dishonest with yourself and other people. So.
It's a quick one.
That was a quick one. Yeah. I know that move real quick. That was Kendall evaluating another couple's breakup or turmoil, and her saying, shouldn't lead someone on. Hey, Kendall, there's a little guy on that island that likes watermelons and bags, and his name's Grocer Joe.
Grocery Store Joe, who is white, for those of you listening.
It needed to be said.
Yes.
He would never call Kendall his queen.
No, he would not. Yeah, Nick, do you have thoughts?
Just before we finally got rid of Colton and Tia, they finally leave this island, which is not an island. And we've already covered, he's been announced as the Bachelor.
Colton.
Yes, Colton. People seem to hate it. What do we think?
I have been, Baby Birds fans of this podcast know, I have been a huge advocate for Colton being the Bachelor this entire time. I think he's borderline sociopathic. He's beautiful and stupid. And I think those ingredients all make up a perfect Bachelor.
I see it, and I don't know how that followed the quote we just listened to, but
no, it
regardless of that,
yes.
Colton, to me, when I look at him, he looks like a mashup of Blake Griffin and Chris Pratt.
Okay.
Take that with you next time you look at him.
I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do that in my head.
Maybe that's why I find him so attractive, because I think Blake Griffin is so attractive.
He's beautiful.
Stunning.
There was an E-Channel poll that went around, and it was, who would you want for The Bachelor? 52% of people wanted Blake.
Griffin?
Yeah, which was a crazy coincidence. No, the other Blake, who went through a terrible tragedy at his school.
And
I'm not talking about his mom banging the gym teacher. But
you're talking about the hostage crisis.
Yes, we're not going to retread the details.
No, we are not.
You can go back in the archives for the horrific details of that event.
Mike, we should talk to Alec about this, because I don't think he knows just how bad it was that day.
Oh, from what I heard, it was like, Shiloh.
It gets
the battle, the Bull Run
it
at
gets
Gettysburg.
way worse.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Blake got 52%. Jason got around like 25%. And then it was just
bronze.
And then it was like, huh?
Colton got bronze.
Colton got like tied for 5th behind Wills. He got like 3%. People are not happy about this on pretty much any forum I look to. In Ashley Iconte's Facebook group, I say her last name wrong all the time. Someone posted how much they do not get. That's the name of her podcast. I don't get it. They don't get Colton as the Bachelor. Got 432 likes. That's a lot of likes in that Facebook group.
Well,
this is really inside baseball. I'm sorry, guys.
Wow.
Recent history will show us that Americans sometimes make really bad decisions.
That's right.
Hey, let me jump in here. So, The
that's a
Bachelor will
popular vote,
premiere
doesn't
in
matter.
January. That is roughly 5 to 6 months away. There's a lot of digging to be done. Some of the baby birds.
What's 5 months away?
Him being the Bachelor.
Four.
We can ditch him in the time being.
Yeah, but don't they start shooting? Is that what you're saying?
November, probably November or something.
They've
okay.
never ditched him after they've made the public announcement.
Well, I will say the news that I am reading now. Apparently, that charity seems like some kind of tax shelter, and the baby birds are undigging that as we speak. I will give that story later in the episode.
Okay, all right.
They dug further. It seems to be on the up and up. But anyway,
The tease. Let's talk about Jenna, who is insane.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you think? We think that she's on quite a cocktail.
There's something going on there, and I'm not familiar enough with the prescription drugs to really talk about what it is, but there are a couple working there.
Yeah.
For sure.
let's go to our expert behind the glass. Pat, what do you got for
First
us?
off, Alec, thank you. I sit across the window from these two assholes who stare at me when I say that Jenna will be dead of a drug overdose in under 3 years. She is Anna Nicole Smith times 4. She's all pilled up on Xanax and Vicodin and Ambien and whatever shit, and add alcohol in the equation.
Yeah.
It's a
Goner.
recipe for fucking
Goner.
death, dude. She'll be dead in 3 years. And I like when I make proclamations like that. If it happens, I'm a genius. If it doesn't, you've just forgot I said it.
That's right.
Yep. Win-win.
Yeah, so on that day when Patrick gets the news, he can just be skipping down the street. I was right.
Yeah, she's dead.
You should have seen him when Ryan Knight passed away.
What the fuck
That's
are
a
you
deep cut
talking
MTV
about?
challenge.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That is an MTV Challenge contestant who passed away from a drug overdose. And I want to fill Alec in. We had an episode called Jenna's Probably on Pills.
Okay.
All right.
He was also on Real World New Orleans. Now I get the pull.
Yeah, him and Jimmy.
You, last time you were on, were not a fan of Jordan.
No, but he's turned it around.
Yeah.
He's turned it around for me in a way that I didn't think was possible. And I thought he was like dumb. Mm-hmm. And I still think he's not like smart
He's
in
an
certain
idiot
ways.
savant.
Right. He just, the things that he says, that it's almost like he's rapping when he talks.
Yep.
He spits this shit out, but then somehow it's like it's all performing this precarious landing on the pad, you know, and it just gets there. And as we saw last night, he was actually, his pep talk to Jenna was incredible.
Well, let's hear that again.
Help you. You know I like you. You know we haven't. It's not like that. I talk about the future with you too. It's not just you talking about the future, it's me talking about the future. Because I know what I want. I'm not going on any dates, you know that.
No, I just feel sad.
I know you're sad. It is sad. I'm not minimizing that. You're right. I know. I know the whole Angela and Eric thing. I know there's a lot going on. I'm sticking by the hot baby named Jenna. Okay?
I have a theory about Jordan's
It just
behavior.
melts my heart.
The more comfortable he feels in a relationship, the more normal he gets. When he's out there in the wind drifting, he feels like he's got to overcompensate, and that's where all the talking comes
Yeah,
from.
it was crazy. It was almost like he was a stable, protective individual.
It was.
We've never seen that from him before.
I know, and he showed a deeper understanding of the concept of like suffering than I would have expected. When she was crying, and he was like, you know what, you're right, it is sad, and I don't want to minimize that. That's like a therapist talking there. And even though he says it with his little voice and his hair and all that, but he's saying great stuff to her.
Yeah,
in
he
that
sounded
moment.
like friggin' Dr. Katz.
That's right, just not as squiggly.
Okay, so do we want to move on? I guess the internet loved Jordan and John talking like, I just got up from a nap. Are Tia and Colton gone? I mean,
You didn't love that? I love that.
That was him trying to get some camera time.
It's fine.
He's a narcissist.
I just fucking hate John.
Really?
Yeah, oh
Over
yeah.
John.
He was like, what's going on over here? There's a camera over there. Let me go walk into the shot.
Is that a hot take?
That's
That
a
sounds like
fucking
a
hot
hot
take.
take. You think John already knew?
I hate John. And you, guys, it was like 2 episodes ago. You go, Nick, maybe it was you. You were like, there's like these tech bros. And he's part of the tech bro. That's a new thing. I don't like guys that are smart with good bodies. Nerds should be fat and unattractive. Now the hybrid is like a guy with a fucking six-pack and can outsmart me. I don't
And they
like
have
that.
a chip on their shoulder because they've been nerds their whole life. It's a monstrous type of human being, and John fits the bill.
These tech bros will run circles around you, massholes. A whole different type of douchebag.
I'll beat the shit out of them. You know, when they're not looking, I'll put a chair over their fucking head. How about that?
Just put a chair over their head.
I've done it.
Okay.
They'll ruin your credit.
We need to go to nighttime.
Nighttime!
Angela.
We're encouraging the yelling.
Yeah. Angela, a scorned woman, eagerly awaits her Eric to come home from his date. I have to say, if I hear the phrase all in one more time, I'm going to flip.
They said it so many times.
I'm going to flip.
Patrick, hit us with a clip.
So you're saying all in means that we're committed in a relation. That's what that means.
Yeah, because we said last night we were all in for each other, just each other. We don't want to go on dates with other people. What else could that mean?
I
And
think
that was only a very small selection
Yes.
of the all-ins from last night.
Yes.
The weird thing was that the other couples were parroting it to each other, like, you know, Eric was really mean to Angela. He said they were all in, just everybody was like,
like
"Did you say he was all in?"
35, 40 times.
And you know what? I used to go to a lot of Clippers games, and one season, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, that was their slogan. It was just on every billboard.
What
We're
is
all
that
in,
so
all
vague?
in.
What does that mean?
It just means like we're doing it, and they didn't. But that's all I could think of during.
Spoiler alert, they didn't.
in the context of the Clippers and the history of the Donald Sterling area, that kind of makes sense because most of the time they weren't trying. I think that finally meant like, oh, we're actually going to try to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
Poor Billy Crystal.
But Eric still doesn't understand even though it's been said a million times, the concept of all in.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure at this moment is when he was having flashbacks to his disastrous performance at the World Series of Poker.
He played at the World Series of Poker?
Yeah, firsthand. He was like, I'm all in. That's what that means? You're gone. 10 grand down the drain.
I get it now.
You had a
Very
two.
slow on
You
the
had a
uptake.
2. You had a 2 and a 7, and you went all in.
No
you
Chris
lost.
Moneymaker.
Now, I hear that's the worst hand.
It
Hey,
is.
can I tell you why he's a horrible poker player and a horrible human being?
Don't say because he's black.
No, because he makes the fatal mistake of having his main bitch and his side bitch have a conversation together.
Well, that wasn't his. He had no control over
Oh,
it.
yeah, no,
I
slap a
think,
bitch.
you know what? I think he did have if he played this a little bit smarter, this wouldn't be happening. He just, you said he doesn't understand the concept of all in. You think he probably does understand the concept of all in and does not care.
Right.
And I think he's an imbecile.
I think it's somewhere in the middle there.
It's like, I got to tell you, like, he did it. I totally agree that he did it wrong. He could have done this. He could have handled it differently in a way that wouldn't have blown up in his face the way it did. But I just totally get it. Like I get him like being frustrated. Like, God, I am laying it on so thick with this hot girl Angela, and she's not letting me have sex with her.
Yeah.
And like he's saying all this stuff at night, but then in the morning he probably woke up and he's like, I didn't get laid last night and I can't masturbate here. We're in this group palaba or
too
wherever the hell we're
hot,
speaking. We're sleeping.
The squishy penis.
And then that other girl walks in who is, she doesn't look as good as she did on her season, but she still looks good. She came in, she was interested in him, so he's like, yeah, I'm going to go with you.
Right.
This
He
other one
sees
is
her and he thinks maybe.
maybe.
Yeah.
Like, look at her. She's got the face of someone who would probably go for it fast. It looked like, right? She kind of has that look to her.
You Boston
A little
guy.
na-
Great
little
minds
nasty.
think alike, you piece of shit.
I've got a little evidence to back up Alec's theory
There we
just
go.
based off looks.
Huh.
Did a little digging.
Whoa.
Her child, her baby daddy, is none other than former Detroit Piston Rodney Stuckey.
Oh, Stucker.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
had that one. Sorry,
Nice.
you can say it. Did you want to say Stucker?
No, Stuckey.
Okay, all right, okay. I'll say, never mind.
Oh, I get it. I thought there was a Rodney Stucker that played for the Pistons as well. I was getting very confused.
I remember Rodney Stuckey.
Yeah, he gave me a couple really good fantasy seasons off the waiver wire back in the day. But yeah, so
Fantasy had a horrific draft last night. Horrific draft last night.
she is a she was a Detroit Piston dancer
Shocking.
and would sleep with at least one of the players. So yeah, she's
And this is Cassandra we're talking about?
Cassandra. Yes.
Wow. Great digging, man.
Well
That
done,
is-
Davis.
That is unbelievable.
Really, really great digging.
It came about because I just wanted to find out where she's from because I just sensed a Midwest accent that I was really falling in love with.
Yeah, gross. Yeah, I mean, Angela has the trump card. Ladies, stick together forever. This all blows up in his face, and Cassandra goes and talks to him. Kind of, lays it out there. Pat, hit us with a clip.
I talked to Angela.
What did she say?
She thought that you guys were like one of the strongest couples here. So,
I don't feel that we're one of the strongest couples here at all. Like, seriously.
she said that you said you wouldn't go on any dates with other people and that you were really happy with her.
Yeah, and then I told her this morning when I woke up, I had different thoughts and different feelings.
I feel like you could have approached it differently. You could have approached a lot of things differently.
So it's on me.
Slightly.
But I don't want you to have to worry about none of this. It's not your problem. It's not your situation. I apologize that you had to deal with this.
I don't know, it's my situation now. I feel like you could have started things fresh with me. You know what I mean? And it's not. It's like a little tarnished now.
I don't think it's tarnished, but
I do. I think 100% it's tarnished. It just feels like all a little icky to me now.
Hey, when a chick says it's icky and it's 100% finished, that means stop talking and get up and try and sleep with another chick. It's over.
Or Iggy's there.
Yeah.
Icky.
He's a goner. next week.
Hey, Davis, everything snapped into focus. I was confused by her being able to basically flip on this guy and go like, I'm done with your ass.
What was confusing about that?
Well, because women have... Are you fucking kidding me? On this fucking island, women have went through much worse, and so have dudes, and they still they bed with the people still. Davis, you saying that she's a former, basically banging an NBA guy with like 7 figures in his fucking account.
A
She's
hardwood hoe.
She's here to be on Basketball Wives next fucking season. She's not here for Eric Bigger with 800 people listening to his podcast. She was looking for an out.
I don't know.
Interesting.
But she does. She gets a rose and she sticks with him. I guess that's not indicative of her feelings at all. She just wants to stay on the island. So yeah, but they do have the namaste thing later.
That was
crazy crystal.
That's an attempt to get a rose.
Yeah, that wasn't namaste. That was I want to stay on the island.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
Thanks.
Stay.
Yeah.
But there's you just sort of sparked this thought of, I think maybe she likes black guys, which is fine. Like that happens all the time. You see the guys from Boston saying that's fine, I guess. And so fine. So maybe she likes black guys, so she was attracted to him, and they went out on the date, and she kind of liked him because he's confident or whatever bullshit she felt he was. Mm-hmm. And then once she found out, he lied, like Rodney lied, or like whoever lied. Like it all came flooding back to her.
Rashid, or Rip Hamilton, or Chauncey, or Ben Wallace.
There you go. Good piston.
Ben Wallace on top of you. Can you imagine that?
Big Ben Wallace. But maybe it just came flooding back to her in that moment, and because she was pretty concise and good in the way that she went at him. And so it felt like that might have been a conversation that she had in her head many times. Like, why didn't I say this? Why didn't I say that?
She's a grizzled vet.
At
this point.
Yeah. And we're going to sign her for the veteran minimum.
Hot take.
Self-aware.
I think she fell out of love with Eric after realizing he's not that black.
If we're comparing to Rodney Stuckey.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, you know how we get sick and tired of listening and watching his face and mouth spit out these platitudes? Can you imagine being in front of him and having to talk to this guy?
He starts these sentences like he starts out, he's like, says what's wrong, and then he just ends up like not making sense. He's like, yeah, so like I sent Angela into a tailspin. I completely lied to her about our relationship, but if you're trying to go to the moon, you better make sure gas isn't at a deficit.
That kind of makes sense.
That's what I'm saying.
And then he says stuff like, she's telling him, like, I just found out you're a huge scumbag. And he's like, I respect that. That's your truth. And then, touches her super awkwardly. He's the worst. The absolute worst.
Well, except move with the cheese. He's got that in his back pocket forever. He's like a one-hit wonder.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, do we have to break this to Alec that this maybe was not an original speech and possibly came from some corporate book?
Are you aware of this?
No.
Who Moved the Cheese?
Yeah.
Popularized by the author of The 1 Minute Manager.
Oh, that's so funny because I brought something up to this about this to someone else, and they're like, "Oh, you mean that book, Move with the Cheese, or Who Moved the Cheese?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, it's not that."
It's like it's a book that people who work for like Mercury Insurance read at orientation.
You know what? It just needs to have a black guy saying it, and it's cool. Like I thought, it sounded like street wisdom, and I was totally fooled. This is like they fooled me, Jerry. I thought you were Chinese, but I thought this was like two black guys figuring something out, which adds a lot of wisdom to that. Like it just felt like, oh.
Totally.
And then they'll be talking when they're old and gray about how they thought up Move with the Cheese. But I guess if they didn't, that sucks.
Yeah.
So you're saying he was like an insurance salesman for a month somewhere and he read part of that?
Absolutely. And it really stuck with him. But we do need to, once and for all, try and break down who moved the cheese and what this exactly means, because last week Patrick told us that he knew and then confessed to never reading the book but pretending like he did. What does move the cheese mean? Go after the cheese.
Move with the cheese.
What does it mean?
I understood it when he said it, and I know when I start to get into it, we're all going to laugh because I won't be able to explain it either.
I can never understand
but here's my. I'll try and boil it down quickly.
It is weird you bought a tripod and a canvas in here to explain it.
That's right. Here, if you follow along on the whiteboard, I believe that it's like, if you're putting it in terms of like relationships, it's like, say you meet women, you've met women out at bars, like you're successful meeting women at bars, and you get laid when you go to bars, and then all of a sudden it stops happening. You stop getting laid at bars. But you think to yourself, well, that's where I get laid, so I'm just going to keep going back there because I know that it's gonna come around again.
It's like the definition of insanity.
Right, kind of. But but then you have to know, like, you have to see, like, okay, I'm not getting laid here. Why? Because the women who would fuck me are not here. Where are they? I have to move with them. So I can constantly be getting this piece of cheese, not just guessing that since I got cheese right here before that it's always going to be there or that it's going to be there when I need it. It's like, no, the cheese is now somewhere else, and
so
you got to find it.
Eric has to go on Tinder, is what you're saying.
Because
that's where the cheese is.
This doesn't make any sense because he has a big wheel of Parmesan sitting right in front of him in Angela, and he refuses it.
Have you ever smelt a large quantity of Parmesan at one time? It smells like throw up.
It has a lot of umami. It's very, very intense.
One time, my friends in high school stuffed my coat pocket full of Parmesan. It got hot out. Didn't put my coat back on. Was at church the next day with my grandma. She asked me if I threw up because I was hungover because it smelled like throw up in the pew.
Well, you probably did throw up on the coat as well.
Not that weekend in particular.
Sounds like you were the popular kid at school. My buddies just like to stuff Parmesan in my pockets.
Oh, we had fun.
Me and my friends used to goof so much. They'd throw me in lockers and leave me for
those guys.
8 hours at a time.
But that's,
brothers.
That's what I think move with the cheese means. And he was saying it in a different context. They were talking about someone else's relationship, but he's not following his own advice. That's for sure.
All right. Still don't understand it. Let's move on to.
I did such a good job.
Hey
too.
guys, while
it's me. It's not you.
While you guys were talking, I read the wiki thing on this fucking book. My mind is still spiraling.
Yep.
It's an allegory of 3 mice and
2 mice and 2 short people.
Gold jacket, green jacket.
Who gives a shit?
Okay, Astrid and Kevin. We're moving on now. Astrid and Kevin are a couple that I can get behind, and moving on again. Hero of the island, Jordan, this is one of the most important parts of the episode.
Oh, this is true.
Has finally taken it upon himself to shave these little tiny hairs, monkey hairs, that exist on the
Baby
top
hair.
of Chris's forehead. He tries to improve the aesthetic of the evil rat that is Ben Stiller.
Temporary fix.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we all know that they just are growing back with more force now. Thicker.
Yeah.
You got to bite the bullet, Chris, and you got to shave it all at one time, or else this ain't going away.
Yeah, I'm a very, very hairy Russian Jew, and I have these Wolverine patches that grow on the back of my neck.
Same. Got them real strong.
They're
right
like fucking super weeds. I can't get rid of them.
Yeah. Wolverine's cool, though. If you could be Wolverine, that'd be pretty cool.
I have the same thing, and I call it my Wolverine hair, and we've never talked about it.
Look at that.
That is
you
crazy.
belong together.
Simpatico.
But we need to talk. You skimmed over Astrid and Kevin. Kevin, what is going on with Kevin's face? Like, what is it? It's like he's animated by an animator that I can't quite. It's almost like a Pink Floyd drawing. His
Nailed it. He looks exactly like the wall, dude.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Nick, when we were watching Kevin earlier, did I stare at his fucking face and go, his face looks like it's fucking melting? It's so gross.
It's the features are like having a meeting on the lower part of his face. They're very close together in a weird way. But he's oddly
You're very good at breaking down the aesthetic of people. Very, very good.
Right.
You know who else is really good at it? We are.
Hey, let's do it.
Specifically, Dylan. He loves the geometric shapes on people's faces. What you said about the things being too close together, I'm surprised he didn't write that.
But
yeah.
I'm sure you thought it.
Well, what we have said numerous times on this podcast is that he looks like James Marsden fucked Quasimodo. The cartoon Quasimodo. That is what he...
Oh.
I'm showing him the Instagram
That's
picture
good.
of
Wrong medium.
Yeah, but for his edification, continue.
But you used the picture you used of Kevin was not. You could have used a better picture
I
because he
feel
looks
like
like
it-
too good there.
I feel like it encapsulates.
Once again, I agree with my
there's so
fellow
many-
asshole. Poor picture. Poor
but
Instagram
His
post.
eyes all squinty. I feel.
No. There's so many times even this week where like he had that dazed
Get the
expression.
fuck out of here, Alec. No, sorry. Continue.
No. I'm just saying, like, he had that expression so many because when his ex-girlfriend proposed in front of him, which was kind of shocking, he had this look on his face. It was like
he looks so rough when he's sitting on that daybed, distraught. I mean, you're 100% right. His forehead has never looked longer.
You guys want to talk about his face. I want to talk about his voice. I actually have a clip.
Really
It's
high.
out of order. He started talking about his height. Oddly, it was really weird.
I don't know. I'm going to be tall because my mother is 5'2", my father is 6'2". But when I started going to school, I was bigger than all the kids. And,
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Wow, where'd you get that clip, dude?
Where'd you get that?
It was super quick, but man, that voice is out of control.
It's like someone deflated him or something. That's what your fucking voice would sound like.
And I mean, come on, Kevin, that was completely out of context. I can't believe the editors left that in. They're usually so much better at telling the story.
This guy is not a good-looking guy. My wife, when he was on fucking Winter
come
Games, was
on,
saying how
that's
hot
not
he was.
true.
I go, hey, look at him now. What do you think? She's like, oh, the same guy. He's gross.
Well, I think that body doesn't quit, and I think he's got a fine face, although an inflated forehead. And
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
He's the man.
he's great.
he's got. Listen,
He's a good
we can
dude.
all agree he's got a great body.
Yes.
I think we can all agree on that. I think that his face is. It's weird. It's like it has the elements of being traditionally handsome. He looks, I'm telling you, I keep getting this feeling he looks like he's drawn.
Right.
Like he's a handsome man drawn, but who's like he's drinking, that Jekyll and Hyde potion. He's somewhere in between.
Alcohol is actually what it was.
Could be. Is he like a firefighter in Canada?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He absolutely is. And I think Astrid's going to be totally fine with that. I just ship them.
I ship him hard too.
Are you familiar with the concept
No.
of shipping?
What does that mean?
Well, let's say like Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart are dating, you know?
Or even if they weren't, but you wanted them to.
Right. You ship them. You want their relationship to happen. I ship them.
What is the ship? What does that mean? Like
It's
in
short
that
for
context?
relationship. Like you ship
ship
them.
them.
Yeah.
Wow, boy, are we bored as human beings?
Yes,
making
we are.
Fucking
We
words like that.
absolutely are.
Hey, can I
Twitter
get to a
has
clip
not
of him
helped
fucking
us.
professing his fucking love for her?
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here in Mexico. I watched the most epic sunset with you tonight.
Be tall because my mother is 5'2".
Just happened to walk in the same day, and really no one else looked our way. We just kind of looked at each other. I think I just wanted to make sure after a really long day that you know that.
He said, don't worry. He said, my father was 70.
And that you're like so out of my league. That
Okay.
He was all.
Be tall because my mother is 5'2". My father.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that today.
Sorry, the clip had some glitches.
The clip had some glitches, and Kevin couldn't keep a thought straight. He was bouncing between Astrid and his parents.
I'm worried about his mental state. One thing I did gloss over really quickly. Getting back to Kristen's little baby hairs.
Yeah, please.
Joe says, I didn't want to say anything to you. And Chris goes,
You're honest. What an ass. What an idiot.
What? I mean, the stupidity.
Yeah,
unparalleled.
but I
It's
cut
just
you off
insane.
because say what was said because I sort of cut it off. But like,
Well, I mean, he just says that's what I really like about you. You're an honest guy, which is the exact opposite of how you should interpret what Joe just said to you.
Yeah.
I was lying to you for weeks.
Yeah. Or at least keeping it quiet because I don't know you and I didn't want to tell you, again, a person I don't know, how hideous those tiny little hairs are on the top of your forehead.
He just does. Have you guys looked up Ron Perlman? Do you know him? Because
Oh, snap!
I like it.
He's very excited
because it's
uncanny. Yeah.
So there's Ben Stiller clearly, and
yes,
but Ron Perlman and weirdly it's almost more Jerry Stiller. Like there's a lot of Jerry Stiller in there. So, but Ron Perlman, and Ron Perlman is hilarious because he's a guy. Obviously, if you know what he looks like, that's what he looks like.
Yeah.
Like a caveman. But he thinks he's like the dapper caveman. He thinks he's very kind of suave.
Yeah.
And he always sort of plays like I'm menacing and dangerous, but sexy. And you can see this Chris guy has the same thing. And I'm wondering if it's like a lobe issue with the cranium that those people have. Like,
he's a fucking Neanderthal.
Well, I wanted to ask it. You see these like ugly actors, and I just wonder, like, why did you think you could do this? Like, bravo for you for accomplishing it, but why did you think that you could act?
But you know what's weird, and you're right, and I've had that thought as well, but then now I feel like I'm figuring out that even the ugliest actors are like really interesting looking. All it is do people want to look at your face large on a screen?
Yeah.
And even if, like, say someone like Michael Shannon, okay, he's not, you wouldn't call him handsome.
No.
But you cannot take your eyes off him when he's on screen.
He has a scary, threatening intrigue to
He
his
does.
face.
And like people like Ron Perlman, like whenever Ron Perlman's on screen, he's the only person I'm looking at because I'm fascinated by him.
Well, speaking of Ron Perlman on screen, the reason why Pat got so excited is because we've talked about this before. He looks exactly like Ron Perlman, but that got me into a little jag about how my wife has been watching an unhealthy amount of the show Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
How do you feel about the show Sons of Anarchy?
Never watched an episode.
And if somebody said you have to watch this, it's so good.
No.
Thank you.
No.
What was that other piece of shit show that Claire Danes was in that every other mother
Homeland.
ever has
Homeland.
to... No, thanks.
First two seasons of that show were pretty good.
But that was, it's just... There's no time for Sons of Anarchy.
There's
it's
no
like,
time for it.
Am I going to throw myself all in for something all in? There it is again. Am I going to throw myself into this thing that at best will be like maybe the 14th best 1 hour drama I've watched in my life? No way.
I'm constantly astounded that people watch the stuff they do on Netflix because the ceiling is so low. It's so low. But anyways, ironically, we're talking about Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah, Ozark is good.
Can't wait for season 2, dude.
It's out.
One more Chris Doppelganger. It's incredible how this guy can look exactly like so many people and or animated characters. Donkey from Shrek.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like Donkey from Shrek.
I saw that post. You made a post of that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Hey, sorry, to get us further away from Dylan trying to keep the train rolling. May I digress further?
I brought Chris up at least.
This Canadian Kevin, this piece of shit, professing his love for Astrid, may I remind the audience that it was just 2 weeks ago, and Alec has pointed out in time, probably 4 days ago, trying to get this broad in a cuckolding thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
A cuckolding thing.
Remember, it's like saying, hey, the two of us, you really haven't experienced other men. I haven't either. Have we really got through this process together without experiencing other dates with other people?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen cuckolding porn, Dylan?
Cuckolding porn.
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I have.
It's where a white guy employs a large man.
No, I'm aware
usually
of the
color.
concept. Yeah, no, we've talked about it ad nauseam.
It's not color dependent.
It's when the dude invites the guy over to bang his wife, and then you have a shot of him in a chair, usually a folding chair in the corner, going like, "Oh no, don't do it, Martha." It's great porn. Oh, sorry.
If it's not color dependent, then I have seen cuckolding porn. I have seen cuckolding porn. And a strange story, not to go off topic, but I once saw a kid that I had a college class with in a porn one time, and he was the role.
He was an adult.
He was an adult, but he was the role of the guy who handed his fake porn star wife off to the real porn star. I was like, oh, wait, that's Lucas. I know him. Anyways, let's get back to Bachelor in Paradise.
But can we talk a little bit about what Kevin said to Astrid when he was giving his little I'm so thankful for you pep talk?
Yeah.
The first thing he said was, we both walked in here. Nobody looked at either of us, but we saw each other. It's basically a shitty way of saying, like, nobody else here wants you. So I'm here.
Except for when you made out with Crystal, you liar.
I know. Like, he hooked up with Crystal, and they're the two most...
Crystal
ladies.
I will say very quickly, you'll be
Yeah.
able to find that link of Dylan's friend Lucas in our Facebook group, and our Facebook group only.
I don't think you're going to find it.
I like what you're saying.
I could
He's
put any
projecting this
cuckolding-
piece of shit. By the way, though, Kevin, I want to give him 5 stars. Going back to 1985, that my second grade teacher, when I did a good thing, she put 5 sticky stars on the wall. Kevin, you get that from Pat Hickey tonight. Well done. You didn't turn into a fucking pig. You stuck with the same bitch, and now
Jesus Christ.
Hickey Stickies.
yes!
5 stars.
1985 was a huge year for Patrick, because let's not forget, that's when he confessed he was masturbating to Rue McClanahan in Golden Girls.
Sure.
Yeah.
Five stars and
Rue.
And Rue.
When she died, I tweeted, "God is getting so laid tonight." She was so saucy.
Oh man, spoiler alert again, Alec. I had no idea she had passed.
Although
That's a real life spoiler.
Maybe I'm wrong though. Who knows?
Thank you for being
Oh, damn it! You done did it. Oh, there goes that airplane by the sunset. We know it. We love it. Oh,
Goodbye.
so great. The scripts for this show, it's a famous thing in Hollywood that the scripts for this show, and Everybody Loves Raymond, where most half-hour scripts are like 40 pages long, their scripts every week would be like 18 pages because there's such a long hold for laughs on all their expressions.
Right.
Like, you know, Raymond's brother would always be like, "Whoa," and then it would be like a minute of applause. And if you watch Golden Girls, it's so much is B. Arthur going like, can you, and
It was 7 pages.
The audience loved it. So you didn't have to really write it all, was the point.
Maybe Phil Rosenthal is just lazy.
I love a little tidbit like that, and I will say this is a perfect time once again to shout out Golden Girls trivia, one Tuesday a month in Hamburger Mary's in WeHo.
No more than that. Do not send people there every week.
Again, apologies to those who showed up for Will and Grace trivia, but one Tuesday a month, Golden Girls trivia, Hamburger Mary's, WeHo.
Go on the internet.
Hey. I know you're trying to get us on track, Dylan, and I will allow you to do this in a second.
Doesn't sound like you're going to let me now.
New segment.
Oh!
It's called Where We At.
Okay.
This week
Strong
the boys have
title.
the roses. This week the boys have the roses.
That was the segment.
What the fuck are you doing? What was that segment? Beat that out. What was that segment?
I know.
Where We At.
Okay, where we're at is yes, the guys have the roses,
He said it!
but where we are at is a new girl walk onto the island.
Shoshana.
Shoshana. thank
Shoshana,
you.
Shana, Fofana, Fee, Fi, Fofana, Shoshana.
The witch. She says that. I mean, you guys are all three of you
The
are
creative
making it
juices are
hard on
flowing.
me.
I'm
You're
sorry.
making it hard on me.
Dylan's got to get through this. He's all in.
So am I. I'm back.
I got to tell this joke.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, the witch walks down onto the beach and she says that, we know her from Ben's season, which is not true. We don't know her from anything.
Crushed it.
And thanks, Nick. And she has a date card. It says, "Shoo, it's time for a
dot.
another girl." Scallop Fingers
Fingers.
walks onto the beach. This is not a welcome sight. I am not a fan of her. I do not like her at all.
No.
She's a weirdo who dangles her virginity in front of people. And I think she's had sex with 40, 50,000 guys.
I was not aware that was her.
Totally.
In her quiver. She says that she's a virgin.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. The guys were chasing this, Florida trash virgin around the island all last season.
Who Patrick, talk about a greatest hit, of legendarily called her homely little rat.
Yeah.
I will say this: Kiss and Bandit. The funny thing about girls that are virgins, they love making out and probably what do you call that when you rub up
dry humping?
Dry
it's what
humping.
Christians
There, she's
do.
a dry humper.
Yeah. I used to go to church. Rough dark part of my life, but
for a Russian Jew, that's weird.
My mom was patient. But that's what Christian kids do now. As they've grown older, they make out, they dry hump, and they ejaculate in 2 seconds.
Do you know what Mormons do?
They dock.
That's another name for it. I have always heard the term soaking.
Soaking, yeah.
That is where you enter the female, but there is no rhythmic motion. You just lie there, and so it does not count.
You just stay in.
You
just
stay
stay
there.
in. You just stick in for a little bit.
You shiver for a little bit.
Great Big
Bang Theory.
lie.
Great Big Bang Theory episode. If that is actually having sex, and if that counts as losing virginity, the metaphor was made. Hey, if you visited the Statue of Liberty, and you entered the building, but never walked upstairs, to look up.
Do you watch The Big Bang Theory?
I was going to say,
did you watch The Big Bang Theory?
Yeah. This episode was great because I de-virgintized a chick, but she had told me, hey, a guy put his penis in me, or just the tip,
right.
And that didn't count. And I said, oh, no, that absolutely did count.
Oh, you know what? Egg on my face again. Docking is not that. Docking is when an uncircumcised penis slips into the foreskin of an uncircumcised penis. That's what docking is. I feel like an absolute idiot.
I feel like you shouldn't beat yourself up because docking seems applicable to. It seems synonymous with soaking. I will say,
yes.
Great episode of Big Bang Theory is an oxymoron.
Yes, thank you very much. Can I ask, what are these producers doing? Sending in 2 girls? Like everything's out of whack. We know they're not going to stick around, although Shoshana does with fucking Landon Donovan, who's from Australia. I'm getting ahead of myself. But this just seems like such a terrible move, and but it plays out terribly because we do not see this date really at all.
No.
We see them on the boat a little bit, and then it just cuts back to the island, and they come home at night.
Nothing.
There was
Nothing.
Especially with John and Kristen's end. There was a little part where Shoshana and Camille went and had a little alone time, and
come take a blanket and we go talk over here.
Yeah.
And that's where Camille was like, wow, there's nothing here. And he is a male model, so if he thinks there's not a lot of conversation, you need to work on that, Shoshana.
Yeah, well, Shoshana and Camille have a connection, in the beginning because they're from
Well, no,
away.
She's an Armo, and he's a Polish dude.
Yes. Okay. Jesus Christ. But yeah, that provides the very shaky foundation that they needed.
I will say I'm kind of in love with her, like physically attracted to her. She's like the Armenian Amanda Stanton.
Okay.
She looks exactly like her, just darker.
Who's Amanda Stanton?
She's the mom.
Single mother that shows up every season of Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Adorable.
He gets off pretty easy here. Annalise is so desperate, and so
she's confident though.
So unsure of herself that she's just like, I don't want to be clingy. Have fun. And he's like, great, I'll see you later. If that would have worked out, he would have left Annalise in 2 seconds, but it did not. Wells breaks this whole thing down to Yuki, gets Kristen's name wrong, and then breaks out into this weird Australian accent. Wells, you need to be replaced.
Hey, Alec, you're familiar with Wells, and you know he's dating the chick from Modern Family.
Correct.
Can I say this? This is how hacky this guy is. I bet he turned to Sarah, whatever the fuck her name is, and goes, they left all my good jokes out.
Oh.
Because that's how horrible he is.
Well, he is a stand-up comedian who's hitting every open mic in Silver Lake and Hollywood.
And
is that true?
Podcaster.
Yeah. He lives in Nashville.
Oh. I thought you said he was an open micer. He's a stand-up comedian.
It was Patrick that said that.
His resume says stand-up comedian and podcaster. Never seen his comedy.
Well,
and I don't know what his podcast is.
He's probably hitting the open mic scene in Nashville then.
Oh, yeah, because by the way, this is your fucking showcase. Make us laugh, monkey. Dance. Make us fucking laugh. Here, it's all the art. If you do everything funny, there's a camera on you all day. Make us laugh. You haven't made me laugh once.
Guys, let's get back to the show. Annalise says that she's never felt this way about anyone before. And I couldn't help but think, what about
the other three guys?
What about Kenny, Ari, and Baby Birds? Thank you for dropping this picture in our Facebook group. Whoever you met on Millionaire Matchmaker, you fucking sad woman. She dyed her hair brown to throw us off the scent. You're pathetic.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that. I'll have to look that up.
That's what legions of fans are for.
Whoever posted that said it was from actually years ago. Yep. So it was like even before she appeared on Ari's season. She's just been Venus Ramos-esque, like scratching and clawing her way up the reality TV ladder, where she has become a complete national joke.
Yeah.
She also talk about facial examination. She's got a few things going on.
Very weak jaw.
Please.
Well, yeah, weak jaw.
How about those veins on the side of her fucking face?
Yeah,
the bags under her eyes.
Well, it's not even bags. It's like she gets this thing where it's almost like where you remember the Nissan split top wheat bread. It's like somebody
Patrick,
he knows what I'm talking about. No, it's a regional thing. And but you remember what I'm talking about. And she also when she gets emotional, her features like blow up. Like she gets a W.C. Fields like round nose, and her eyes she gets very puffy when she's emotional.
W.C. Fields once said, "I don't like water," and they said, "Why?" And he said, "Fish fucking it."
He said that? God, I've never heard any of his dirty jokes. That's a good one.
This is the best podcast that's ever been laid down by anyone ever.
Yeah, a little off topic, a little off track, but we're going to get back to this here show after some iTunes ratings and reviews. Hey, Pat.
Dylan!
How you doing, man?
Oh, fuck it, dude!
What do you mean?
Well, first off, we get a lot of reviews on this show, and by the way, we're up to like 230. In the podcast world, that means a lot. Let me say this. When we get a 1-star review, it hurts a little. When we get a 4-star review, it makes me want to cut some heads off.
Okay.
But that's not what I'm going to do right now.
M. Night Shyamalan.
So anyway, we got 4 reviews this week. 3 of them were 5 stars, and 1 of them was 4 stars. And you tell me, boys, if you think this person's just trying to, I don't know, shake me up a little bit. Here's a review.
Shake me up.
It says, please stop screaming, Pat. By the way, their name is Ears Are Hurting. I love the podcast. Love hearing the funny commentary. Only thing is, Pat is seriously needs to stop screaming. It hurts my ears. It makes me want to stop listening every time. My boyfriend can't even listen with me because of the random yelling from Pat. Other than that, I love the pod. Mm-hmm.
Is Ears Are Hurting supposed to be like hairy butts? Like, no one's named Ears. Anyways, Pat.
I was going to say, I have no idea what you're talking about, but the kind of effort it would take to create an account with a title that echoes the sentiment of your review. I mean,
you don't have to create an account named that. You can just title your review that.
Oh, wow. Got it. Sorry. Freaking Grandpa Dylan over here.
Hey, gentlemen. I know the audience is expecting me to call her a bitch and tell her to get the fuck out of here and leave. But that's not what this podcaster's going to do right now. Because, you know what? I've listened to some of the episodes. I agree. Maybe I'm screaming.
Wow.
A little bit too much. And I'm going to look at myself in the mirror and try and be a better podcaster and more entertaining. There you go.
Holy hell.
We've played Michael Jackson once tonight, or maybe we're about to play it. But I think it's time to play a little Man in the Mirror. Oh, time to make a change.
And the reviews. So, not to retread a fan favorite segment, but meanwhile, while they're on this date with Jorge, who is upgraded from horses to yachts, they cut back to Annalise. who says, I just feel so bad for her. She's talking on the daybed with Chelsea.
Jordan.
Jordan?
Yeah, doesn't she confide in Jordan?
Well, they have their own conversation as well. They had a few Annalise moments.
Yes, there's a lot of Annalise moments. But she says at some point that if Camille proposed to her that day, it would be a yes from her.
Yeah, if my mom had nuts, she'd be my dad.
Well, it's just the saddest thing I've ever seen.
That's not the right way to
ridiculous.
use that.
But that's fine. It's always funny. Because they've literally been together for 3 days.
72 hours, and she's saying, unironically, to camera, while crying, with a weak jaw and swollen features,
Very
I would
swollen.
say yes to a proposal from this man I do not know.
It's like the stress doll when you halfway squeezed is her face.
Yeah.
She gets emotional.
Pretty
You start
perfect.
squeezing.
Hey, can I do a meanwhile?
I just did one, but
No,
go for
I'm
it.
doubling up on the meanwhile.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I don't like this. Kevin and Astrid throw shade at production in their fucking situation. Do you remember this?
Well, I think they're warranted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They go, hey, what do you want to do, honey? And he goes, I don't know. Get more food and get a tan.
Well, fuck you, Patrick. I love Astrid and Kevin so much because, yeah, they are, showing us how the sausage is made a little bit.
But when I started going to school, I was bigger than all the kids.
A lot of entree tonight.
That was like my whole idea for that, but I just wanted to do it the one time.
Does anybody want a peanut?
Thank you. That was very good.
Very good.
Thank you.
That was really, really good.
These fucking
Enough!
ingrates. Hey, by the way, what, were you getting tired of fucking doing nothing all day?
Yeah, I would get tired
eating
of
fish
doing-
fucking tacos, looking at hot chicks and fucking their assholes in bikinis. Dude,
Jesus
I'd live
Christ.
there.
No, this sounds like my worst nightmare because, as aforementioned, hairy, Jewish, beach, but also you cannot be on a fucking resort for that long.
Hey,
It
dude, if I
just
did
gets
cocaine, which I
boring.
don't do,
You do not do
but
cocaine.
if I did,
Yeah.
I could totally be on that island for 2 weeks.
That sounds horrible. You're bored, so just throw cocaine into the mix, and now you're like that rat, churning the milk into butter. Just bored as fuck eating quesadillas that you're not hungry enough to eat.
Hey, move with the cheese.
That is bringing in Kevin's ex to propose in front of him. I don't know how you guys feel about this. These producers are ruthless. This is really, really brutal. And it doesn't create like that much drama. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know what they thought they were going to get out of this.
It's a lot of legwork for to humiliate one guy
Who's really nice
who's
and
nice,
not going to overreact.
and had that look of like he was so confused as to why it was all happening and
Yeah.
could not process it. And then he took the total high road with her, gave her a very
hug.
respectable hug and
Yeah.
said congratulations and moved away, and well, he did the best he could. Of course, then instantly afterwards he was complaining about it, but he was right to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a little info. Kevin and Astrid weren't the only ones that didn't like what was going down in
Yeah.
front of them. Actually, Ashley and Jared did a little digging.
Yeah.
Yesterday, they recorded, before the episode aired, they recorded their almost famous podcast, Ashley I and Ben Higgins. And,
Great title.
And they kind of recapped how they thought it was going to play out when they saw it later that night. They saw it, were not thrilled, to say the least.
Yeah.
Ashley and Jared called in and recorded a special topper, about 14-minute topper.
They're very good at stretching out things about them that no one gives a fuck about.
Oh yeah, it was a whole lot of nothing, but they were bitching. I can't provide details, but they weren't happy.
When I saw this, I was like, does everyone does everyone who gets together on the show have to propose on camera? Like, I haven't seen a single person couple up and get engaged away from this world.
It's possible that they do, and then they just have them come back and do it. It's possible. And also, I mean, that may have been their proposal on the show that was legit, but she certainly knew it was going to happen. Like, you could tell by her whole sort of face and body. She's had a little work done on her face, by the way. Let's talk about that.
It's crazy because she's so young, but it does look like
she's denying it.
Yeah.
No. Her nose got sort of shaved in a very. I mean, she's always and listen. I think she's got a real life body, but she's put on a little weight. I think with Ashley and Jared that Ashley just successfully crawled into his head. Like, whatever she was doing with all the bullshit and the crying and the dramatics and the hysterics, she got in there. Like, it attached. Like, she knew, even through the sadness, she knew that this sort of character she was playing was eventually going to get through to him over time.
Alec, you know men don't work that way. Men don't think like this. You're not going to be roped in for some psychological bullshit.
Over time. Like, it didn't work on him for a while, but it latched into him, and he had to come back. And I think you're right. I think in the best sense, you look at somebody, you smell somebody, whatever, you're like, this is the person I want. But there are also situations where it's all about mental warfare. Like, they just figure out a way, like, you didn't have that instant attraction, but they're not giving up. They're going to reel you in.
So sometimes the cheese didn't move. The cheese just got older and the aroma more intoxicating.
But that's the cheese moved with him. He didn't have to move with the cheese.
Yeah.
I think he missed being important.
Couldn't be more confused.
I'm confused too because I'm agreeing with Patrick. I think this Jared guy.
What is that?
I think this Jared guy he's hanging by a thread of relevancy, and he wants to crawl back up, and he's using Ashley I, who somehow, despite just being like talking all weird and just not being fun and is very like popular and has a huge following and Facebook group,
because
which was one of the last ones I haven't gotten kicked out of.
She reminds you of someone you know.
Yeah, and also I think she has a different personality when she's on podcasts and in the real world than she is on that show. On that show, she is a head case. But
on the podcast, they just interview girls who have sugar daddies and such. And
she's like, I've heard her in interviews. She's actually, oh God, congrats to Lala on her man. Congrats to Lala on her man.
Yeah, crossover. But yeah, that'll never last. Neither of them will last.
We've been wondering where to pivot to in the off season.
Ooh, do it.
It's not all bad though, because date cards have arrived. Kevin and Astrid are going to be together for a night in a pool. They have a wonderful date, and much like a peaceful New York commute, it's ruined by a large, cackling mariachi group.
That was ridiculous. My thought at that moment was like, they should have just started fucking in the pool when the band came.
Right.
And just like, you're going to do this, take that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now what do you do?
Your move.
Yeah, your move.
Well, meanwhile, saying it a lot tonight, we get back to Annalise, who is just continuing to crumble before they get back. She and Chelsea, this is when they're sitting on the night bed. Chelsea asks her, do you have any insecurities? Which I thought was a great question, Einstein, is what I have written.
She's planting the seed.
Do you think she's working this far in advance?
I think she's trying to break the news that she's about to go after her mans.
Okay.
I think she was trying to support her own theory of, Camille has never really had a chance to talk to anyone else, which is true.
Yeah.
Assuage her
self-serving.
Conscience.
Well, by the way, you keep doing meanwhile. There's a great, from the Super Friends, there was always a voice that said meanwhile at the Hall of Justice, which is like a great soundbite. You should dig that up somewhere.
Meanwhile.
I kind of like that.
Meanwhile.
Wait a second.
Great job, Alec.
Thank you.
Is Patrick just stealing bits from TV shows that
No. It's
Dylan
different.
and I haven't
It's
seen?
different.
Is that what's happening? because there's such an age gap that he can just pull from this well that we'll never see or
God,
drink out of.
What a dream.
Next, we're gonna find out where we at's from Thundercats.
Thunder.
I think that's from when I was a kid. I didn't watch it though.
Yeah.
The guys and gals get back from this date, and a couple things. Chelsea, again, very obvious, says that she thinks Annalise is starting to have doubts. I think we have a clip.
I think Patrick is looking for the meanwhile thing right now.
We actually don't have any more clips still.
Okay. I just saw arms and I didn't see you, so I thought we had a clip.
I thought for sure he's going after that meanwhile.
Yeah, they get back and Camille pulls her aside and says one of the craziest things I've ever heard. Annalise, I choose you.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
Again, this date must have been awful because they showed none of it. And he says, Annalise, I choose you.
Well, he also adds he didn't feel a connection with the Armo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's pump the brakes on Armo.
Is that an offensive
Maybe
term?
to Armenians. We might have one or two of them listening, but, anyways, hate to be all snowflakey.
An Armo.
I think this...
There it is. Nice work.
Shocking.
Nice work.
I think
you were looking for that.
I think possibly going back to Alec's hot take about Angela not having sex with Eric, I think there might have been a chance on the date with...
Whoa, this is a wild take.
Cassandra.
I'm really like writing my own in between the lines of when the cameras aren't showing us.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking they had a conversation and she kind of said she was traditional, just like that girl from Winter Games who said she didn't want to...
Camille and Shoshana. Shoshana said this, huh?
Yeah. But who is the Russian girl from Winter Games?
Don't know.
Luke Pell. She wouldn't give it up. He broke her heart.
Yep.
I think this might have been a similar thing. She's like, yeah, I'm not going to have sex. So Camille's like, okay, I'm going to have a couple more nights with Annalise, who's explicitly giving it up and giving scenarios like glasses and librarians and such. Hot take.
We talked about
I
this
like that.
early on in the season, or perhaps last week. It's all a blur. But this was the camera angle that I was wondering if we'd ever see. The night vision, the black and white sex cam.
Yeah,
Annalise,
we used to get a lot of that on
right?
reality.
We used to get that all the time. And all the MTV shows like The Challenge and all that stuff, there's always that fucking camera. And we never see it on this show, except for tonight, because Annalise is the most desperate human being we've ever seen on this show and knows that if she gives it up, she will remain on this island.
and
Which is not an island.
Hot take, which I just thought of. The reason they chose Annalise to kind of break the seal of the first people we see on the island have sex since the Corinne scandal, the reason they chose Annalise is because obviously she's trying to give it up. There's
no gray area.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Please, can I finish?
Can I finish?
Can I finish?
Consent could not be clearer with Annalise, so they can, and now it's going to open the floodgates. No gross pun intended.
We are in dangerous waters again because Camille could not be consenting to this. Pat, did you have thoughts
that you stepped on me?
Annalise is so homely. If I was desperate at a bar at 1:30 in the morning, that's who I'm zeroing in on. Reverse cowgirl.
Needed from Pat behind the glass.
By the way, you should refer to Camille all the time as Camille the man. Because it's a girl's name. Camille the man.
Not the way it's spelled. It's just Polish, Alec.
Meanwhile,
are we saying it wrong?
No,
I feel like it's Camille.
Camille.
No, but maybe in Poland it's like Camel.
Kimmel.
Can I tell you guys, this is kind of just my own train of thought, but I work in a building with Chamillionaire. I see him nearly every day.
No shit.
He works for some tech company. I work in a WeWork type building. It's not WeWork specifically, but I see him every day. Rode the elevator with him today.
Is this like that?
That's pretty cool.
That guy from the Cosby Show who just got snapped working at Trader Joe's?
No, this is like the complete opposite. Chamillionaire was super smart with his money and invested really early, and he's making moves. He is not working at Trader Joe's.
Well, it sounds like he's working though.
He's fucking he's making calls and he's looking dope doing doing it.
Okay.
Hey, can I get to my segment?
Yeah, go for it.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Okay.
That's a thing now.
Olivia grabs Asian John.
Yes.
And they make out.
Olivia, who could take a page out of Chris's Shave the Forehead book. She was having issues up there, too.
brutal.
But that was... Because she's, like, pretty, but then there's this thing where it's like, ew.
You Boston guys.
Sympathetic.
I'm just saying, fucking shave your hair. Just fucking take a little care in your appearance.
Out in public, for Christ's sake, on national television.
Oh,
God.
Meanwhile, Shoshana gets advice from Wells.
Well, pump the brakes. Let's get to the pre-rose ceremony. I guess...
Cocktail party?
Yeah, cocktail party. Let's call it that. Or, the feeding frenzy.
Margarita party?
I guess the narrative here is that John is a player. It's really weird because he's
not. He just fucks
not
a lot.
a player. He's just... Things are so desperate right now that he's just getting bounced around the process. Like, he wasn't a player early on in the season when people were, had their druthers about them and they had some agency and were picking who they wanted to be with. Now it's just a free-for-all. He's the only one left, and he's just getting thrown between women and kissing them.
Also, simple hot take. Women like money. So, therefore, John is a hot commodity.
That's very true.
Yeah.
But take away the money, I still think his strategy for any guy who's not the alpha of the island is ideal. You go in, you're just a nice guy. People keep you around where there's no love interest because, hey, you're nice. That's kind of... People seem to like David. That's why he stuck around. But then if you somehow make it to this end where there's this huge disparity in men versus women, like you said, Dylan... John smells blood. It's a feeding frenzy.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, we can get back to Shoshana getting advice from Wells, bad advice from Wells, because he says, you should go talk to that guy who already told you today that he doesn't want to be with you, although that happened off camera. But she goes over to talk to Camille, and she just begins weeping. And he says something that makes a ton of sense. You should not be crying over me.
Right.
Because
too much sense.
We don't know one another
Yeah.
at all. I don't know why you're crying right now.
And also, women don't want to be held when they're crying and they hate you.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't he try and hold her? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she shoves him away. She's a witch. She doesn't like human contact. Pat?
I was wondering about this. This show really amps it up because just when you think, like, I want to go to bed, they go, hey, a new arrival.
Yeah. What? Australian Landon Donovan?
Is he Australian? I thought he was a Kiwi.
He's from New Zealand.
He's
Sorry. I'm all right. That's my bad. This is fucking stupid. This is so stupid.
It's the guy who flipped a coin to decide who his bachelorette was
Yep.
gonna be, or bachelor, or whatever.
He could be a threat. Unfortunately, he has just been ravaged by early onset male pattern baldness.
Or cancer. Why is he bald?
Or cancer.
Is that why Landon Donovan left the MLS? This guy looks exactly like Landon Donovan.
I saw him.
Landon had some hair problems of his own. But
did.
This gives Chelsea a little bit of hope, and her hospice stay on this island is prolonged.
Yeah, she you can see, like, right before she has a conversation with either that guy or anyone that Camille, that right before she goes over there, she does one of these.
Yeah.
So she gets the cleavage perfect,
right?
Like every time.
Wrong medium, but Alec adjusted his tit area.
That's right. I opened my my
dress
neckline there because she works it with that. Also, by the way, go home to your kid. You're not making any connections here. Don't sandbag the one sad sack person you've been like pseudo counseling the whole time right on your way out.
It is just so like you have these moments with her and you're just like, are you are you realizing that you don't want to do this? Are you going to make a change and go back to your kid? And then she just does pathetic shit.
I know. It's ridiculous. But it's like, no, I might find a husband. It's like,
well, and he asks her, he's like, why haven't you had any connections with anybody?
Weird.
And she's like, well, I have this bastard child. Seems to be a bit of a hang-up with a lot of people on the island.
Yeah, and also she said something weird like, but I have 50% of my time. Like, what? Does that mean that the dad gets the kid half the time?
The hang-up is not that she has a child. The hang-up is that she is a terrible mother and human being.
It seems like it.
Yeah, that's why she doesn't have any connections.
And also I know it's 2018 and relationships are what they are, but you're the mom. Have more than 50% custody. Let's, you know what?
Yeah.
We need you on the wall.
Leave it up to us to be scumbags.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
We excel at that role.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't you be like a part of that.
It came from you.
Oh, and the whole thing is just like there's an ex-husband or whatever just saying like, oh, thank God I'm rid of her.
No, but part of her sob story is like she's like a childhood. She was like a beauty queen, got swept off her feet by some rich man when she was very young, 20s, had this kid.
Is this real?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He found out she was a bore, left her. So I think the reason he got so much custody is because he was financially stable, whereas she has reality TV to put food on the table.
Yeah, I feel really, really bad for her, and she just spirals further. We talked about it. The way out of this island that's not an island is so pathetic. She's been talking to Annalise all episode about her and Camille's relationship to pull this move. What a dirty bitch.
It's terrible. And the solace you can take out of it is along those lines. You can see every episode of this season being played for a judge and jury in a custody trial, and just some Southern attorney being like, "And Your Honor, even after all that, she did not come home to her child. And here's episode 6. And even after this,
I do find peace with that, because I hope that does happen. She has to have at least 20% custody ripped away from her because of
this.
A horrific bitch she is. I like Annalise a little bit more here. She's should just say a little bit here. She kind of gets a little riled up. She's like, Chelsea, hey, what are you doing here, you bitch?
To be fair, there was no place to go but up with your opinion of
yes,
Annalise.
that's what I was trying to say. Hey, Pat, I think we need a roll call here.
Here's who's with who. Kevin picks Astrid. She's looking kind of foolish. Jordan picks Jenna. Evil Ben Stiller picks Crazy Crystal, that grudge bitch. Joe, the grocer, picked Kendall. Eric picks Cassandra. The New Zealand guy picks Shoshana, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Asian John picks Olivia. Do you want to know? And Camille picks Elise.
Yeah.
You want to know who goes bye?
Yeah, sure.
Angela, Scallop Fingers, and Chelsea.
Yeah.
And NSYNC.
So a couple
bye.
notable picks. Eric picks Cassandra. Just does Angela so dirty.
So dirty.
She is. It's like if you're playing like a game of Risk or like Catan or something, you think that you're doing pretty well, and then all of a sudden you're just like, what the fuck happened? My night is ruined.
Yep.
I hate my friends and my family.
Oh,
Didn't happen this weekend.
No. And also the Chelsea panic attack.
Yeah.
At
Simultaneous
the end.
panic
We had a
attack.
dual panic attack.
But Chelsea's in particular, I was brought to mind instantly the Blair Witch Project. Like the hyperventilating.
The snotting, the searching.
It was that moment where I haven't heard that much breathing.
And let me tell you something. I was watching at, you guys know I watch at 1.8 speed. I had to get this episode finished. I was way behind. And I watch at 2.5. And hearing her breathing at 2.5 speed gave me a fucking panic attack. It was so fast.
And it lasted so long.
Yeah.
At 2.5, it was still probably 12, 15 seconds for you at 2.5 speed. It was
Yeah.
like nearly a minute. It was cruel by production. I started laughing like audibly because it just kept going. It reminded me of Team America World Police when he just throws up for minutes at a time.
Yeah. Right. One last thing before we get out of here. Kristen, I hated her when she came onto the island. I hate her. No more, no less. Get the fuck up and leave the island with whatever dignity you have left. I guess if the only place to go is down, you might as well just hit the floor and pretend to have a panic attack.
That's clearly what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she didn't. I mean, I'm no doctor, but she was asymptomatic, I think they call it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love Kevin, too. He's like, can we get a medic?
He's a firefighter. It's in his nature.
Yeah,
That's
I guess,
right.
But, like, stop pretending.
Like you said, she had lost all her dignity. So don't, like, hurt yourself again. Like, just burn the whole place down if you're going to go out with a bang.
Right,
All
exactly.
This is stupid.
Go out with a literal bang. Like, kill somebody. Make this interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe not. That's the end of this episode. Boy, was it a barn burner. And if this episode's long, ABC, stop putting out 3-hour episodes. We won't have so much to unpack.
Not our fault.
Now we get to go home and watch 2 more hours and then 5 hours next week.
So fucking excited for this season to be over. But we're going to be back very, very soon with another podcast. Mr. Alec Sulkin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me again. Love it. Love it. You guys are very funny. Enjoy it very much.
You have no need for plugs, but you have a famous Twitter account at the Sulk, right?
Sure. Yeah, I enjoy that. If you want to see what kind of bad jokes I write, go there.
Yeah.
Seriously. Actually, no. Follow him, Alec Sulkin, on Instagram, because you don't really have a presence there, right?
Right. That's true.
Follow him there.
Yeah.
and tell him you came. You're gonna get like 6-7 people.
Ooh, here we go.
And if you want to be in the esteemed company with Morris Chestnut, join you on Twitter.
Ooh.
Remember that?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He's my guy. I'll cut it.
Anyways, that's it from us. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Oh, really quickly, iTunes ratings and reviews. Go there, leave 5 stars, not 4. Join us on Facebook.com/group. What is it?
Errors and omissions?
Oh, no, I don't think we're doing it tonight.
Okay, I don't really have anything planned.
Facebook.com/group/Another Bachelor Podcast. Instagram @Another Bachelor Podcast. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Alex, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey, guys. We didn't mention Rob Thomas, singer of Matchbox 20, was at the end of this episode.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see it.
What do you mean you didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
God.
The singer
Rob
of Matchbox
Thomas.
20 from 1998. He was in there at the end. You didn't see that?
Should we give him...
Yeah, Jared and Ashley watched the videos from like, hey, we've got one more surprise for you. It turned to computer, and apparently Jared is a huge Rob Thomas Matchbox 20 fan.
So
I've never
am I, dude.
he will never look at Ashley the way that he looked at Rob Thomas on that thing.
That's the only thing we need to know about Jared.
Yeah.
He's a massive Matchbox
And
20
Rob
fan.
Thomas was weirdly sitting there with like a lapdog, like a Bond villain or something almost.
Like
and
Dr.
he's
No.
like, hey, Jared, like I hear that you guys had some good news and well, we like it. And he was like, oh my God.
This is what I love, Alec. Hey, can I end the show with this?
A Matchbox 20 song?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
go
love
for
this
it.
song.